We are building a model railway, and a lot has already happened here in our small layout in the last few episodes. I'll show you this real quick from above. That's what it looked like a few days ago, as a layout, as a track plan. However, a lot has indeed happened. I once did a mock-up with many things that might eventually decorate this facility. So, in the last episodes we crumpled and plastered. I'll quickly show you what we've crafted. On one hand, we've made the mountain up here from crinkled foil, using crinkled paper. And this crumpled piece of paper, it has now grown together seamlessly with the plaster on the side. And now you can take a closer look again. Here one can see that. Doesn't look much different anymore between the plaster here and this structure. Paper foil over here on top, here is a bit of granite rock, here is white plaster, and it is now gradually also already dry. So then, we can indeed continue from there. Then I constructed a small hall further ahead, right over here. It was already there as a trial setup from the beginning, but it has now been extended with a plaster film, and it has just been laid on for now. I have indeed taken a slide here, or perhaps one. Yes, that is indeed a material. It genuinely feels like authentic stone material. This is a particular slide here, and on this slide you can also trim it slightly and carefully lay it out. And indeed, I have already laid it out here. We just have to securely glue them onto the wooden board with a strong adhesive now. Then, on the side, as you can already observe, I have meticulously taken here very small curbs on the side. I'll try to hold them up to the camera here on the side so you can see them. These are very thin, delicate curbs created by a laser cut system. This is actually a cardboard box that was precisely cut here with a laser, and now you can see these curb edges very exquisitely. I will also carefully glue those items down. Then I combine something else, specifically a paper foil, right here on the side, which you can clearly see. And I carefully cut into them just a little bit so that I could make them a bit more round. And with this newly shaped round paper foil, I essentially built this intricate path here on the side. There he can be seen. That then leads over it. Here too there are curb edges everywhere. And in between, the paper was crumpled up a bit every now and then. It's just crumpled up and glued on with the adhesive. Then you see here already prepared a chain link fence, which will stand here. Such a fence, it goes from here to back there so that one simply won't go to the tracks, and it ends back there at the small trash can. There I have a small garbage can. It's already standing back there behind the little house. Here is another small portable toilet on the side so that people who have to turn the corner here at the construction site or at the railway history can also relieve themselves to some extent. And then I found concrete slabs, complete with concrete cracks already present on the side. Can I also briefly show to the camera what they look like? Then you see here such very small concrete slabs where the concrete has already cracked on the side. Also a laser cut system that I will actually place down here on the side in this plant. And that is all still laid out at the moment. What else is new? Ooh la la, yes indeed, trees. I have meticulously organized a selection of small trees, which I can now also thoughtfully place on the layout for a trial placement, allowing for a detailed evaluation. He could stand here, for example. Then I planned a second tree here, a third tree there. You see, you can never have enough trees. So, trees are quite indeed a thing. You can really spruce up the place with them. So, then you observe a few purple dots here on the facility. These are indeed my drilling points. I truly want to drill through there. In fact, I have considered that I will put up these lattice mast lights from Märklin right here. I'll show you guys real quick. I have already unpacked them from the original packaging. And I will simply and carefully establish connection with the light current of the system at the bottom. That means a cable is just going to come down right now. One like this here. This is a base and you can just attach it right here. And then you can simply take this very base and with a gentle and careful push, insert it down into the ground, and then you can just directly connect this lamp to it. The light transformer, which is already placed below the installation. So the first lamp goes here on the side towards the front. And that's why I'm putting them over there. I wanted to put the second lantern here straight towards the street, you see. The third one, I thought, should be placed there, near the little tree. It can then slightly move to the side. That's why the tree will likely stand more like this. Let's see its look. I've also planned a lantern here. Maybe the tree is more on this side, as there's a street lamp here. Then I'll place it here, with another street lamp slightly offset. Also, you see, concrete slabs have been laid. And my curbs, they are actually still lying around here like a scattered mess on the side. I can easily bend those, then I can cut a bit off here and then stick them on here exactly the same way so they are round. But now, it's indeed time to commence the big cleanup, because obviously no one can do anything like this. Now I have to put my test piece aside a bit, because now the painting begins. Now the brushes come into play, small brushes, large brushes, bristly brushes, and they will now first create a basic structure, and for that I have organized various colors. I once acquired for myself a vibrant green paint here, with which I can then proceed to paint everything that is to be coated with grass later on, for example. Then I'll just gently sprinkle some grass powder on it, like a sugar bowl, and then this will turn green. For example, this particular piece goes up here on the side of the facility, or here, or indeed up there. Then I will actually paint here on the premises with an ochre acrylic paint as well. Everything that is a bit earthy, everything that represents a transition from grass, perhaps down here between the railway tracks, nestled between the rails. And I have brought another acrylic paint, also a brown one here. This is a different manufacturer. One was now, the other is Heki. You can use it however you want. You can also combine it, and then you can paint it like that. That means even here at the front, where I've inserted my crinkle foil, on this side up here, I could then go in with, for example, an earth color, or also mix green and yellow and brown a bit, almost like camouflage colors, so that this becomes good soil, and I can then accordingly design everything accordingly. So, what else do we need? I also took a concrete paint with me. Also a street color, so I can combine everything that looks a bit like concrete, and a maintenance depot here as well. I also just brought two different colors with me. A slightly lighter concrete color, once a slightly darker road color, so that even back there, where the construction site is, one can work with the lighter color, because there might be a bit of old ground, and where it's freshly tarred, there one could work with a slightly darker structural paste, and then I can also add some kind of concrete granulate. Then it looks really quite realistic, as if it were freshly tarred right here. That is precisely the plan now. Then the cordless drill is used, because with the cordless drill, or I will now drill the holes here with the cordless drill, so that I know later where a hole is supposed to be. Because if I paint over it now, then my marking for the cuts was there, and I can do that later. So that you can see a bit how easy it is, I'll just start with a bit of yellow paint, or the ochre color here. Unscrew that cap and just go in there with the brush, so you can see you can then quite nicely dab together your own vibrant world of colors. And just here, already simply in yellow, a bit here at the front. Let's observe if you can actually see that on the side when I dab a little bit here, or on the side. My chain link fence also has to give way once again, because now it's time to loosen up the soil here first. And meticulously coated, ensuring that my system receives a thorough, high-quality primer application. Of course, it will not look so new afterwards, but indeed it will look completely different later. I'm just going to make a few brush strokes for now, so I can somewhat imagine what it's precisely supposed to look like. You can see it's much too bright, much too yellow in that direction. That's why it's best for you to take a board now. A small and primed once somewhere, just dabbling a bit with the paint to achieve such a perfect color mix. Let's see if I still have a paper somewhere around here. For example, you can now just paint something from a signal or from a lantern here, because if the paint happens to be overly wet, it really doesn't look nice at all. So, now let's combine that a bit with another color. I'll take this brown color here as well, so we can get a nice mix going on here. And let's take a moment to look inside, to truly see and appreciate how it feels in terms of color, and then we go in here now. Let's mix this. Yes, it looks much nicer already. It's a rich, deep chocolate colored again, and now we can carefully paint around here a bit, pondering deeply how it would feel here in terms of color if I later go over it with a bit of a texture paste, or with a lush, vibrant grass coating with such a fine grass fiber. Then it could look significantly nicer, indeed. Yes, and it just takes a little while now to color everything in nicely. There I will be busy for a few minutes or hours, depending on how long I take my time for it. Please only proceed with that action once the plaster has thoroughly dried. Otherwise, it's quite silly. After that, you may continue with your work. So I'm going to try out my colors a bit at the front for now, and won't do it too quickly, but just want to take a look for a bit at which colors I imagine this primer to be. And if I happen to like this here at the front on the side, then I will begin to somehow establish my lamps to pre-drill already. And you have to shake the colors a bit too. You see, things are not really good here yet. First, we have to do a little primer. So, just testing again here how it feels here, and you see it should be nicely quite opaque. Later, tufts of grass will be added on top, and then this will create a good solid structure. Looks very, very new and very, very smooth at the moment. You can dab that on here too, then there will be a structure later on. This is mainly done with structural colors, where a bit of soil is still incorporated. But we'll do that later, once the first coat of primer is on, so we don't use too much of the good texture paint. So, here we can start by carefully priming the system a bit. And depending on whether it's a winter, a summer facility, or perhaps an autumn facility, you can of course work with different colors and gradually work your way into the tone here. So, we have a bit of green as well. Let's take that again so you can see the colors and the differences we have there. Then, we actually go into the green color again here. So, indeed, this is an exceptionally vibrant green here. Let's also try out what kind of color actually comes out of it. And then we can also investigate with it a little bit. You see, that is very, very green. That is very, very bright. It's best to mix that up a bit together with the ochre. Then, you get another color structure here. Look, now it's getting a bit noisily yellowish already, the whole thing. And then you have different shades depending on whether it should be a fresh, green, lush summer meadow, or perhaps more like a dark, mossy ground. And then you can also mix it a bit with brown. I really have to shake the brown a bit more vigorously. It was a bit too liquid for my liking, and then it goes on right here. Shake, shake. Always make sure to close the colors properly so they don't dry out. So, let's see if it worked out now. Yes, that certainly looks better. Then, let's go in there with the brush. Yes, like this, and it's the best on my test paper, on my test strip here, right on the side. And then, we'll see if we can possibly get a bit of vibrant color on there. So, now it's nicely and evenly browned. Now we can take a bit of green again here on the side and mix it, and then you'll see it will look completely different again. So, here, yes, now we are indeed getting different tones. And with my crinkle foil, or my crinkle paper, if we carefully dot just a little bit into it, then it looks completely utterly different. And you just do that until everything is colorful, and then it looks like a small acrylic painting, your setup. That makes a completely different view. And when we see each other again next time, you probably won't recognize this facility except from the track layout, because then there will be a lot of color all around, and my concrete slabs may also be lying around. However, I will not just leave them lying around here, but I will simply secure them with a white glue. I'll just close the paints so they don't dry out. Doesn't have to be. That's why I always prepare a little something here with the colors. And I'll show you once again very briefly such a white adhesive glue and what kind of glue you can actually use there. There are also indeed a whole lot of different glues. So first, carefully close the colors. So it's good? Won't dry out? Fine, we'll leave it at that with the concrete color. Here we have such a wood glue. You can use it for things like that, for example. So, here we would indeed have that one. Or perhaps there is also another adhesive solution. I'll go ahead and pick him up down here. So a notably large pack, it's often called grass glue. So there's quite a lot in there. You can use it later, for instance, to glue tufts of grass in here. But ultimately, it is a white, transparent glue that can also be used to stick such small plates together, or when it comes to larger things, like trees that should be very stable, then I am a big fan of the hot glue gun, which you simply take and then glue things in such a way that they stay. For example, I did that here at the front with the chain link fence with the stamps. I've already stuck them on because later I will go around the base with the paint a bit, then they won't look quite so new. Yes, that would be a bit of inspiration I can give you for crafting. So you see up here, a lot has happened to the facility, and we now have this beautiful facility with a bit of an industrial atmosphere. So it's not a mountain landscape, not an intact world with a train station, as often seen, but now there's a bit of dirt on the layout, exactly as planned. There's concrete, a construction site, gravel, sand, because we took the construction site as a motif after one of our starter packs chosen for this was the Märklin starter pack with the construction site. And as a second motif, we also actually selected a starter pack with a steam locomotive from Era 3. And accordingly, this has naturally become a very beautiful layout, which you can now see here. So here's another look at a few colors, and I would say you just take a look now at what you still need. Is everything in the description text of this video linked? Then we'll see each other again next time when it's really colorful here on the premises. Have fun recreating.